Today on The Real Fan Review, we give you a spoiler and non-spoiler review of The Joker. Welcome to The Real Fan Review. What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going over The Joker. And what a movie that was.
Disturbing.
Yeah, man. Gritty, graphic. I left the changed man.
All of the above.
I've seen things that I think I shouldn't have seen.
Definitely not a movie for the kids.
Nope. Leave the kids at home. People, this is not for anyone. I would say, under the age of 17? No,
Anyone under
16,
the age
15.
of 30.
You know what? I shouldn't have seen this.
No, you're of age.
Okay. Definitely above age. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we saw Joker this week, and it's been a crazy time. I mean, this is one of the highest grossing movies of October, right? Of all time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it beat Venom by like 13 million.
Oh, wow.
So it definitely made some money out there.
And October is young.
Yeah, man. So we'll see how it goes with the movie. But just to introduce us to the listeners out there, my name is Hav. I'm one of the hosts here. And one of my co-hosts here is my boy Sanj.
Good evening, everyone. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
We also got my boy Al, the man in the chair.
How's it going, everybody?
But as far as this podcast is going to go, we'll do non-spoilers first. So anyone who hasn't seen the movie just yet, we won't ruin it for you. We're just going to give you what we thought about it and give you our take on some of the stuff that's happened. Again, without spoiling anything major that hasn't been seen in commercials or what's not like publicly known. Then we'll give you a little countdown and we'll get into the spoiler review of it. So just to do non-spoilers, I know Sanj, you saw it today.
I saw it today, just a few hours ago.
All right, man. So what are your thoughts, man?
Oh, my gosh. It was such an incredible movie. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix was incredible.
Absolutely knocked
as
out the
Arthur
park.
Fleck / the Joker. His portrayal of it, just so much nuance in how he played. It just so detailed.
Right.
His approach to it. And, I mean, honestly, I felt that this movie, if DC wanted to do something, like a DC EU, like an extended universe, this would have been a great way or a great concept to start it.
Absolutely.
Because it encompassed so many elements of the familiar, that of the stories that we know and love. And this is the first time on screen that we're really getting a fleshed out Joker origin story. Yeah. And it was just the descent into madness.
Absolutely, man. It had a Christopher Nolan realism take.
Yes.
But then it just went a step further and just made it even realer. It made you realize that, hey, man, the Joker is someone that could be right there as a neighbor that's having a bad day and just goes from worse to worse to even more worse to worse. He just kept getting bad news and bad information, and just you saw what kept happening, man. It was
and you saw the point where he broke.
Yeah, man. Al, you saw the movie. What'd you think?
I think I agree with Sanj. This is, if they had taken their movies for the DC EU in this direction than they had with the previous. I liked the direction they were originally going with Superman, Man of Steel, and so forth. But just watching, like even just recently, Justice League, it was a little bit more cartoony than I think they were intending to go.
Right.
But watching the Joker and seeing the reality, and even if you never knew that this was a comic book movie, you didn't know who Joker was, you didn't know anything about the universe it was supposed to be set in, you would have still walked away from this movie enjoying it. You would have known about the character. It would have sucked you into his portion of the universe.
Right.
And made you want to see what else was out there. Especially the ending, like I was saying with Sanj before. You see them go after Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne, and you see Bruce there as a child. You don't know the significance of it. So to then bring in another movie in the universe where it now tells Batman's story of how that event triggered his development into Batman, but in a reality, like that level of reality.
Right.
It would have just made that universe, to me, a little bit more enthralling than even the MCU, maybe.
I got you, man. I mean, listen, watching that movie, I got lost in the movie in the beginning, man. I mean, right away, the opening of the movie, it got you because of the guys. We won't get into the spoiler of it, but just basically the beginning of the movie, just the face that you get to start the movie from the character Arthur Fleck, just let you know already we're in for something. And then as the movie just goes, you just see the different things, like Sanjay was saying, the descent into madness and why. You know, I know a lot of, we had this conversation about violence in movies and what it's going to show and what it's going to try to make people do. I don't think this movie did that. I think if you come away from this movie like violence is cool, then you obviously missed the whole point of this movie. This movie is, I think it personally, I took it as it dealt with, hey, if there's people who need help, mental health issues that need help, the last thing you need to do is take away the help that they're getting.
Right.
If you see someone having a bad day, maybe just say hello, smile, or, you know, you don't necessarily
Just
have
say,
to make.
hey, are you okay?
Yeah, you know, it's just like, be kind, almost. You know what I mean?
You saw him really trying hard to hold on.
Absolutely, he was looking for help.
You know, you saw him really, really try hard.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that he wanted to be a bad person or anything like that. He was trying everything, meds, this, counseling, everything,
Right.
to keep that grip on daily life, on being a good citizen, being what you're supposed to be.
Right.
And you just see these events just keep happening, like you said.
Even in the commercial, man. Remember the commercial? The doctor's talking to him about so what's new, and he asked her, "Are you even listening?"
Yeah.
Right.
All I have
are negative thoughts.
Exactly.
And he just reaches a point where he's just like, I'm not going to fight this anymore.
Right. Yeah, especially with everything that he goes through in this movie. Like, you guys seen the commercial where he's, dancing with that sign.
Yeah.
And these kids just come out of nowhere. That's just the beginning of it. You know what I mean? And then you go into these different things that keep happening. Again, it's really hard to not talk completely about it. So let's just get into.
It's going to be a really quick
Yeah.
non-spoiler version.
But
you
just
can't discuss the movie without talking specifically about the events that are occurring in the movie.
yeah.
Exactly.
But when you see what he went through, you almost can see even a normal person breaking at some point.
Exactly.
Even if you take out what he went through what they explained that he went through as a child and everything he had gone through up until that point, even everything he was going through then, I think would have broken a lot of people.
Exactly, man. So, I mean, as far as non-spoilers go, let's just go with the stuff that we can answer. I know you already said it, Sanj, but what's your take on Joaquin Phoenix's acting there and what he brought to the Joker?
I'm not ready to say that he was better than Heath Ledger or even Jack Nicholson, because I felt like they all were great.
Yeah. And they're almost different Jokers too.
That's what I was about to say. So they're very different takes on the character, and they're seeing the character and they're playing the character at different stages of the development.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like, remember, Heath Ledger didn't show you the descent into mad. He showed up mad.
Yeah,
he showed up crazed. So his Joker is a well-developed criminal, hardened criminal at this point, who has a clear agenda and knows what he's doing. Joaquin's Phoenix Joker, he's figuring this out as he's going along. Like, first you get the descent into madness, and then once he's mad, you see the beginnings of that terrifying character, that nemesis that will eventually be Batman's nemesis. So I think it was a master portrayal. Like, I can't think of anyone else who would have done this so well.
Right.
And the look that Joaquin Phoenix had,
a lot of the looks.
Everything about it, the facial expression. So I will say that he gets a 10 out of 10 from me.
Yeah. How about you? Al? What do you think of Joaquin?
Oh, definitely. If he doesn't win something for this role, I don't know what somebody has to. Yeah, I don't know what an actor would have to do in order to win an award. I mean, from his physical commitment to the movie, I think he lost 50 pounds or something like that.
50 pounds, exactly.
Yeah. And to just the commitment to the character, I think he even surrounded himself with it. I didn't even know that laughing was a real disorder. I thought they were making it up for the movie.
No.
But apparently it's a real disorder. And to go into the research of how do they react, how do they, and show that level of commitment and to actually execute it that well on the movie. If he doesn't win something,
Right.
and it's got to be one of the higher end awards. It can't be like
best actor.
Yeah. It can't be
He has
best-
to at least be nominated.
best portrayal of a comic book character in a movie. Like
No,
it
no,
can't
no,
be
no.
that. Like,
Don't cop out. Yeah. No, but he definitely has to be nominated at the least because, again, even though it's just a comic book character, the Joker, you could take away the comic book part of it. He destroys as far as like making you feel for him, also making you worry about him, making you disgusted by him, making you just completely uncomfortable in certain scenes. And then there's even parts of the movie where you're watching him and you're like, you almost forget that it's Joaquin Phoenix. You're like, this guy Arthur Fleck. He's losing it.
yeah.
And I just couldn't believe what I was watching. And one of the things I will say to people who watch this movie, if you're looking for like a comic book like action kind of movie, this is not it. This is there's some scenes that are action oriented, you know what I mean? But for the most part, it's one of these kind of they call it a slow burn kind of feel.
Yeah.
But that slow burn is awesome because of the way that it makes you feel. It's gritty, it's grimy, it makes you uncomfortable, and it's just like even Gotham I thought was amazing. To be honest with you, I thought Gotham was the Bronx. It reminded me so much of the Bronx.
All I thought about
yeah.
like this is the Bronx.
The apartments, everything,
Yeah.
the streets, the way
the train, everything. So I really think that they use Gotham as like, I mean, the Bronx as where Gotham was. I'm gonna try to look that up later on, but I mean, it was just a really, really well done thing. And again, Joaquin Phoenix absolutely killed it. Besides Joaquin Phoenix, Zazie Beetz is in the movie. Played would you say like a small role in the movie?
Yeah.
But it was a good portrayal of what she did. She did whatever she was told to do in that movie. She did it great, And
I liked how they used her character.
yeah,
Because without spoiling it, there's a twist that involves her in the movie that I suspected might have been happening because it just made no sense as
Right.
it was happening. And the way they did it, the way she acted, she did a very good job
Right.
for what her role was to be used for in the movie.
Gotcha, man. And then I guess any other characters? There really wasn't any other character besides Arthur Fleck. Joaquin Phoenix's character in this movie. I could say that the other characters,
Thomas Wayne.
they had small roles. I'm talking about like someone that had a major role, like him. Like usually there's another person.
Mother.
The mom had a small role too. You know what I mean? But I guess the main other person I could think of that had a significant role was Robert De Niro.
Yes.
Yeah.
What'd you think of his take as the late night talk show host there?
It was very Bobby De Niro. Yeah.
Right? It's just
just
him.
him. Yeah.
We just said that at the same time because it's the truth. Yeah, he just played himself, and you know what? He did come off like a talk show host,
Yeah.
and he did good. I think he did good. Again, this movie is solely focused on Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck. And like Sandra was just saying, Thomas Wayne is in this movie. While Arthur Fleck's mom is in the movie. There's a couple of little characters that he works with as well. But for the most part, you're watching Joaquin Phoenix throughout
Yeah,
this movie.
his face,
Oh, yeah.
and close up on his face a lot.
Yeah. And to be honest, guys, again, even though it's just on him pretty much this entire movie, he keeps you enthralled. He keeps you with him. This movie just holds you to the end.
It just kind of you felt like you didn't know where they were going.
Yeah, some
It's
points,
like,
yeah.
The thing is,
yeah.
like, it's the Joker. So on one sense, if you know Batman and everything, you know where they're going, per se.
Right.
But I don't quite understand how it's like you're going to it's like one of us pick each other up. Hey, we're going over to Al's house, or we're going over to Hobbs' house, or whatever. And they're like, you know where you're supposed to be going. You know the regular routes.
Right.
But then you're taking me someplace, and it doesn't look like any way we've ever been, but we still get to Hobbs' house. You know what I mean?
And I like it.
And I like it. Right? They're like, ooh.
Oh,
I've never
what's
seen
this?
this before.
This is new.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, man. So listen, we're gonna get into right now just the rating on this for you, Sanj. What would you say? How would you rate this for yourself?
I truly believe I will have to see this at least 2 or 3 times in the theater.
Oh wow, okay.
So I think that might be the highest rating that I've ever given the movie.
Right.
Go see it 3 times. It is a must see 3 times in the theater.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about you, Al? What you
Yeah,
think?
definitely a must see.
A must see, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. For me, it's a need to see, but at the same time, man, thinking about what I saw in that movie, I don't know how many times I could see it in the movies. Maybe one more time in the movie theater. And I'll probably definitely buy it on Blu-ray. But then even when I buy it on Blu-ray, because of all the stuff that happens, again, this is a grimy movie and it's violent and it's
Because I'm
it's a
pretty
lot.
sure there's
I don't
stuff I
know.
missed.
Oh, absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. That's probably one of the reasons why you have to see it again, is because you're gonna want to check, just look back to see if you can see certain things. And actually, there's a couple questions I got to ask you guys about what we saw and what we think we saw in the movie, and we'll get into that in the spoiler review there. So, guys, again, you hear from all of us. We're saying that you need to see it or it's a must watch. So definitely, Joker is worth your time, your money, going to see it in the theaters. All right, so now we're going to give you guys to the count of 5 because we're going to get into that spoiler review, and we're getting into that spoiler review in
5,
4,
3,
2.
1.
spoilers.
First of all, do not take your children to see this movie.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, I didn't understand why there were kids. In
I
the
walked
theater.
in and I saw kids my kid, my son's age. No.
Yeah. When I saw kids in the theater before I saw the movie, and I was like, oh, okay, you know what? We're watching Joker, so I understand. They probably think Batman's in this movie or whatever. And then as I'm watching the movie and all these things start happening, I'm just like, get the hell out of here. The kids should not see this. You know, I mean, and would you say what would be probably the most gruesome part of the movie for you?
When he shot De Niro in the head.
The ending.
Yeah.
The ending for me too. That's probably the most gruesome part that just was like over the top, was the ending to this movie.
It's just so psychotic. The way he shoots him in the head, like on live TV and everything.
Right. And even the way that they shot it, it was like you're seeing all of this. It's not like we're going to pan the camera to the side and you hear the gunshot. No, you're watching the entire thing there.
Right. Exactly. And then like the fact that he just goes on about his business, what he's doing, as if nothing phases him. That's we've seen other movies where people get shot and killed. And going back to our discussion on the violence in movies.
Right.
Last week when we did that, I kind of said it was I think the word I used was stupid for people to look at this movie and say like the violence part of it. But I can I can backtrack a little bit and say that I kind of understand why someone would look at the movie and say, I think the violence is a little too much, because it's not so much the act of violence itself, like shooting somebody in the head or stabbing somebody in the throat and then the eye or killing other people or whatever. It's the psychosis and how real it seems that with John Wick, this is way over the top. We know this is not real.
Right.
Right? But the fact that this could happen, like the way it happened, and everything is like, this feels a little too real.
Right.
That this could happen over there, right next to me, and like I could be caught in this situation. Like I see why now that it felt that way.
I got
Especially like the scene in the train with the 3 guys. That starts everything. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like I was saying in the non-spoiler review, the way the movie starts is Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker makeup, kind of, but not like the final ending Joker makeup.
It's just regular clown makeup.
He's wearing a clown makeup that he works as a clown, and the first scene is him trying to make himself smile, but he's crying. There's a tear coming down his eye, and there's like no music, no nothing. It's watching him look in the mirror, a close up, like you said. There's a lot of close up shots, and dude, just like he puts his fingers in his mouth to make the smile happen, and then he like lets go of it, like really just like rough almost, and it's just like almost like a rubber band effect.
Yeah,
and you see the tear come down his eye, and you can see, or you can almost feel the hurt that this man is going through. And dude, we're 2 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
that says a lot about Joaquin Phoenix. That says a lot about what they're shooting and how they're shooting it. Because, dude, that right from the jump, I was like, okay, I see what we're getting into right now. Yeah. Because it was serious from that first shot. Then we get into and it's funny because you look at the commercials and you wonder how much time passes before what we see is what we're seeing on the commercials. This went right into what the commercials were showing.
Yeah.
So right after he's making this like teary-eyed, expression and showing the hurt that he feels inside, trying to just to smile. You see him outside pretending to be happy, being a clown. He has this sign. He's doing the dance and everything. And these punk kids
steal his sign.
Steal the sign and he chases after them, and they pretty much they jump him.
Yeah.
They run into an alley, and of course he runs down the alley behind him. And he's running down out of nowhere, whack in the face with the sign, busts up the sign, right?
Yeah.
And then they fuck him up.
Yeah. It's insane. And these are like teenagers, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. Like, this is how his day starts right there, And then right from there, we get to see more of his character. He goes home to his apartment, and then you see that he's living with his mom. It looks like his mom's not doing well.
And he's taking care of her.
Right.
He's like making her food, feeding her, setting her up. He's taking really good care of his mother.
Right.
Like, he bathes her and stuff like that because she's not able to do any of these things for herself.
Now, something that I keep hearing in a lot of reviews for this is that his relationship with his mom is creepy.
I think why people say that is because it looked like they were sleeping in the same bed.
I got that, but I didn't get that. I didn't think they were sleeping in the same bed because I think they were just watching TV together, kind of thing.
I didn't think the relationship.
But I didn't think the relationship
creepy.
was too creepy. Like, I could see where it could like lean to being a little creepy, but I just think that was his personality, that was her personality. They were both a little mentally
unstable
there, so it's like, it kind of lends itself to looking a little weird. But in the end, I think he was just trying to take care of his mom, and then we lead to one of our first scenes of seeing things through his eyes. He imagines himself being on this talk show that's ran by Robert De Niro's character, and it's crazy because you see him thinking to himself. One of the things that actually bothered me and hurt a little bit was to see this man only wanting to be hugged. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that was like really hard to watch because
embraced and told that, like, hey, you're a decent person.
You're right. And if I feel like, had someone in this movie just given that man that hug,
it would have changed.
It would have changed a lot.
Yeah.
But instead, he gets everything that happens, and we'll get into that. But again, this scene is that him imagining himself being at the show, and he has this laugh that he has in the movie, which again, Al was just saying that it's an actual
disorder where they can't help but laugh. Yeah.
And he studied people with that disorder to see what their laughs sounded like, and he based his laugh off of that.
And it's funny. It's not funny, but in the beginning of the movie, he has that laugh, and there were people in the crowd laughing. Mm-hmm. But I think people stopped laughing when they realized that it was hurting him.
Right.
He's laughing so much, he's almost like hurting his throat. He's grabbing his face.
Yeah, he's trying to stop it.
Right.
Like he's physically trying to stop himself from laughing.
Yeah, he's like coughing. You could feel like this is causing this man pain, and he's laughing uncontrollably, and it's uncomfortable, man. And this is part of the movie that, again, every little thing here is just making you feel a little uncomfortable, a little weird, a little bit like, what are we watching, man?
It's like little by little. It's not so bad. That's not so bad. Yeah. That's not so bad. Oh fuck.
Oh, this is bad.
Oh fuck. It just got real bad.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like, in this daydream that he has watching the talk show with his mom, he's imagining the talk show host hugging him and telling him he wished he had a son like him.
Yeah.
And he's being cheered because he takes care of his mom. You know what I mean? And it looks like that's all he just wants to be.
Some acknowledgement.
Acknowledged just for what he does.
He was looking for a father figure, and I think he was projecting that onto.
Is it Murray?
Murray.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where that line comes from. He wants to hear a father being happy, proud of him as a son.
Right.
And that's where I think that line comes from in his psychosis of, oh, I wish I had a son like you.
Exactly, man. So then after this little daydream kind of thing, the next thing that happens in his life, I think he gets called into the office because the manager.
Yeah, because he's mad because he
the guy wanted his sign back.
The guy, so the store where he was, so apparently he works for a clown agency that hires out the clowns, so that the guy wanted his sign back, and he's like, yo, the guy's going out of business. He just wants his sign back, otherwise I got to take it out of your pay. And he explains, look, I got jumped.
Yeah.
Right.
And they took the sign and they broke the sign. He's just like, and the guy just doesn't believe him. Like, they took a sign from you? Really? What would they want with the sign? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, man. And then,
so it's just like, it's like, I'm trying to do a good job, and like the sign got robbed from me, and I went after them trying to get the sign, and I got my ass kicked, right? And even then, when the other guys were talking to him about it, and he said, and they were like, "Oh, that's fucked up," with it. He's like, "They're just kids."
Yeah.
Just kids, like, doing dumb shit. That's what kids do. Like, so you can see he's in his mind, he's trying to be compassionate to others. Right. I struggle to say that word when it comes to the Joker. The Joker being compassionate.
In the beginning, he was trying to be compassionate.
He wasn't the Joker at that point.
Right. He's
you know
Arthur
what I mean?
Fleck.
Like, yeah, he's Arthur Fleck. Like, he was trying to like be understanding, and that's the point. Like, it was just too much.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then after this meeting with the boss, and he's getting, like, told, just return the sign. He goes back to the locker room, I guess, with the other clowns that are working for this agency. And this guy, and it looks like he's trying to be helpful. He's like, hey, man, listen, I heard what happened to you. You need to carry something like this. And he gives him a bag that has a gun in it.
38.
And you're like, Jesus, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah,
here we go. Yeah. And then it comes to a funny scene because he's pretending in his house to be, what is he dancing, or is he pretending to?
He was dancing because apparently his part of his shtick is that he dances. He's a dancing clown.
Yeah, he likes to be musical or whatever.
Yeah, so he's dancing around.
And he's dancing around with the gun. Dude, how scared he got when he shot the gun off, and he's like, the TV was loud. I'm watching a war movie.
No, and it's like he fell down. Like he's like, oh God.
It was so crazy, man. But then it gets even more crazy. And this is the part of like where it's like the Joker, because there is a little bit of hilariousness to some of these scenes, that scene in particular. But the next scene, to me, and this is where it gets weird, because it's funny, but it's not funny. Al, why did we laugh when he was in the hospital with those kids and he starts dancing and a gun falls out of his pants? You see, we're laughing. But it's not funny.
It's not funny, because if you heard that happen and your kid was one of the kids, you'd be like, what the hell?
Oh, he was at a hospital doing a job, and he brought the gun with him to the hospital dancing for the kids. Then the gun falls down. He's like telling the kids to shush. And he's like, oh, and then because he's wearing clown feet, he keeps kicking the gun away as he's trying to reach for it.
You know what? I was just saying to myself, I hope this gun I hope what they're doing here is not the gun goes off by accident.
Oh, yeah,
in a children's hospital, you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, please don't.
No.
That would have been too much.
But I feel like this movie did that consistently. It always gave you something that was funny, but you almost questioned yourself, should you be laughing?
So, I didn't see this. I saw the movie today, so we unfortunately did not get to see the movie at the same time. So, when the gun went off in his apartment,
right,
I was dying laughing. I was the only one in the theater dying laughing. So I'm like, fuck. Is everyone going to think I'm a psychopath?
Which is weird, because I think when we saw it, a lot of people
laughed.
No, I mean, my theater wasn't packed or anything like that because it's, it's the middle of the week or whatever.
Yeah.
But there was enough people in there that, like, someone else should have been laughing.
Right. And
no, it was just me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just me. So I was like the Joker, and they're like, I hope maybe people were thinking I had this condition where laughing uncontrollably, like,
Yeah, man. Oh my God. But that's what I'm saying. Like, and we're gonna go through a lot of these scenes where it's like, is it funny?
Oh, it's funny.
But
it's funny.
But
dude, the gun went off and the way he like collapsed and
yeah.
like, oh God! But
I'm saying,
he
like,
turned the TV up like
it's a war movie.
And then he looked around like as if somebody was gonna be there. He looked around.
Like, but again, that goes to the acting that of Joaquin Phoenix. He sold it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just he knew exactly what to do,
Uh-huh.
how to do it, so that it would elicit that response. Like, we shouldn't be laughing, but the shit is hilarious.
Oh man! So wait, now I gotta ask, man. When he dropped the gun in the hospital with the kids around, when he was dancing for the kids, did you laugh at that too?
No.
How about when he kicked the gun with his big
Yes.
shoe? I think he kicked it twice by accident with his big shoes.
Again, I was the only one that was laughing. Like, when the gun dropped, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that's the first thing I was like, because you didn't expect it, because he's just dancing, and you don't think that he's
'Cause I
brought the
didn't
gun
wanna
with
You know
him.
what it is? Like, I was so invested in the character at that point. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want him to lose his job. You know?
Wait, how about when he gets on the phone with his boss? His boss like, why the fuck would you bring a gun to the hospital? This is part of my act.
It's a prop. It's a part. And his
He
boss
said it
is
was
like,
a kid's-
really. That's part of your act at a children's hospital. What were you gonna do with it? Yeah, it was just a prop. You can see, like, his boss too was telling him, like, look, I like you. I don't know why I like you. No one else likes you, but I like
Everyone
you.
thinks you're a weirdo.
Everyone thinks exactly, right? So
Oh.
his boss was even trying, but then, I mean, I could understand from his point of view. The guy went to a children's hospital and a gun fell out.
Yeah,
That's his
If he had gone
business.
anywhere and a gun fell out,
Right,
yeah.
right?
Oh my goodness, man. So then, I guess he gets fired,
Yeah.
right?
He got boom fired.
He gets fired, and then the guy who gave him the guns just wants to make sure that he's not ratting him out. And I think he does make a joke about him giving him the gun, right? He's like, "Well,
Yeah.
that's where I got the gun from." And then we get a little taste of Joker right there in that scene, because he walks out of the room, or the place where all the other clowns are at, the locker room.
Yeah.
But he comes back
Yeah.
and he goes, "I forgot to punch out."
And then he beats
And then he beats the shit out of the clock.
I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, that was hysterical.
Oh my god! Because I didn't.
That was like
punch
legit-
out.
Yeah,
Punch
that
out.
was like legitimately funny. I'm like, there you go. That's funny.
Yeah.
See, and again, I thought it was funny too, but people were quiet in the theater for that part too, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, this movie's making everybody uncomfortable, man.
Yeah.
I think maybe people may have wanted to laugh,
Uh-huh.
and they weren't sure that they should be laughing.
Again, this is a thought that you feel throughout the entire movie, man. And now we get to, I think, this is where we really get the part of the Joker coming out, and I definitely wanted to talk about this a little bit. So the next scene that we get to is the Joker's on a train, trying to come home, right?
Yeah.
So he's on this train coming home, and he's sitting down by himself, and these three, Wall Street guys?
Yeah.
So 3 Wall Street guys are on the train. They're a little drunk. Maybe they came from some bar or something like that, so they're drunk. There's a lady sitting across from these 3 guys, and one of these guys is either trying to talk, or I don't think he's trying to hit on her, but he's just being stupid. He was offering her food, and then he started throwing it at her because she said no. And I think the Joker looked over, and they said something, and he started laughing, but he starts that uncontrollable,
Right.
uncomfortable laugh that he does. That, is it a disorder, you said?
Yeah.
So the disorder that he has there. Now, I think one of them sees him, and they start making a joke, or they start singing,
Like, bring out the
Bring-
clowns.
bring out
Send
the
in the
clowns.
clowns.
Send in the clowns.
Yeah.
which makes him start even laughing more
But
uncontrollably.
at this point, it's definitely not funny, because you could see the distress on his face, and he's trying to explain to them, and he can't even explain to them that I have a disorder,
Right.
or something like that. And then again, they start kicking the shit out of him.
Yeah, they just started beating him.
Yeah.
And this is the part where I think where some people had issues with the violence. And I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Is how I felt in that scene. Those guys had it coming to them.
I would go a step. Those douchebags had it coming.
Right. Now, in no means am I saying people deserve to die, right? And in no way am I saying people deserve to be shot. But in that scene, they were beating the shit out of him, and there was 3 of
He
them.
was defending
and one,
himself.
And
in
he
that-
was
in that
defending
scene,
himself.
He was defending himself.
Right. So he shoots one, and you almost don't even see it happening. It just kind of
He just turns and bang.
Yeah.
Oh, you just hear the bang.
Yeah,
and
'cause
then
it's
I'm
from
like,
the ground.
what the
He's
hell?
still on the ground when it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like he hits one of them.
Then he gets up, catches the other one. The other one tries to run away, and he shoots him in the ass.
Yeah.
Not funny, but yeah.
I laughed at that when he
Yeah.
shot him in the ass. Like, and he's like, when he's like limping away, holding his ass. Come on, come on.
I got you.
The part where I wanted to laugh, and like to your point that you don't know if you should or whatever, was when they were playing like hide and seek, trying to come out,
Out of the train.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So now this is the part where it gets into a little bit of madness, Al, because he got the 2 and the other guy's running away.
This is where it becomes.
This is where it
cold-blooded.
becomes, yes,
Yeah, 'cause
exactly,
he
that
shoots him in the
cold-blooded, where it's
back,
murder now. Because what he does, like I was saying, the guy goes into another train, he, trying to run away from the Joker, or Arthur Fleck at the time, and then they get to a stop, and I guess they're looking to see if one of them is going to come out of the train. So they playing this game of hide and seek real quick, and then the guy finally comes out of the train. Now this is the part where Arthur Fleck, I think, just goes way too far. Not even think. I know he went too far. Is he comes out of the train and goes after him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then he catches him, and of course, again, people, this is the spoiler review, and not to glorify violence or anything, but he does shoot the guy in the back.
He unloads his gun.
Mm-hmm.
Completely.
Yeah, he unloads his gun.
He even keeps trying to shoot, and there's no bullets left.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that part
because at
is,
that point he's no longer in danger. The guy's running away. The other two are toast.
yeah.
So he's no longer in danger. So this is not cold-blooded murder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. And it just that's when the theater was quiet, especially when the guy was on the staircase there. You know, the theater got quiet, everybody got quiet. It's just like, oh shit, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's out of self-defense killing those two. I'm not going to chase after somebody else.
Yeah, because even if he goes and says, "Oh, he shot us," y'all were beating him.
But
He
this
was
is
getting beat.
this is the madness though. Like,
Yeah.
all right, you know what? Y'all were fucking me up, and you thought I was weak. You thought you could fuck with me because of so and so. Now who's in charge?
But see,
Yeah, but
that's what,
going to get you in jail.
No, wait. But that's what I took away.
Which
Was that not, he didn't do it out of, I got to kill him because of this. I felt like he was feeling the power for the first time.
yeah.
That,
he was
okay,
lashing back out.
I can actually fight back. I can respond to all these bad things that are happening to me. I can take the power back. So that's what I felt he was feeling there. Not
Yeah.
oh shit, I got to kill him because he saw me kill,
Well, now that
was-
you think of that, then how do you explain, or what do you think of? So he runs away, and he goes into this bathroom that he
and
finds at a park.
he was celebrating.
You
I
think he
took
was
it as a
celebrating?
celebrating.
Not at
He was-
first. He wasn't celebrating at first. He was still like shook
No,
up.
but then he starts, once
Then
he realized and he felt that power absorbed, he started dancing. He was doing his to me, he was
That's a question I
celebrating.
had for you guys that I wanted to ask.
Go for it.
In that scene, was he dancing or doing martial arts? It
It looks
some
like
of
Tai Chi, right?
Yeah.
It looked like Tai Chi. It also looked kind of like ballerina-ish because he did the leg cross,
Like
and then
I get that there's some part of martial arts that is very much a dance, like it's like a dance.
No, but I think he was dancing.
okay,
Yeah, I think they were.
because I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
right,
no,
because I think they
he was
made it a point to show that he was like musical, had some kind of music,
playing in his head and
yeah,
stuff.
or something like that.
Yeah, so I took it more that he was, he enjoyed it. Like, I didn't get beat up. Well, he started to, but you know what? He took control of the situation and he came out on top.
Yeah.
So I took it more like he was celebrating, and then that's what helped make it easier as more and more things were happening bad to him to respond in the same way, because it was giving him that sense of power again.
Sense of power back, yeah. I mean, Insan, you said, what was your take that when he was dancing in the bathroom there?
At first, I don't think he was celebrating, but then I honestly didn't think it was a celebration because it felt like you see throughout the movie, like his leg is always shaking at certain times, like, and then he has the laughing part. So he clearly has these things that happen to him when he's under duress,
Right.
right? And I think that dancing was something that he does to cope with the duress. So I didn't see it as a
Yeah.
celebration. I felt like he was trying to, like, you know how some people like will take deep breaths
Right.
to calm down or what. I think that's what he was just trying to calm down.
I kind of thought that too, because you know why they had mentioned, because when he was talking to the social worker or the psychiatrist, I think it was a social worker, not a psychiatrist, that was helping him out with medicine. She had mentioned that he was in rehab before, or was in a facility before. And again, this is me overthinking what that meant. I know in certain rehabilitation places, they teach you Tai Chi as a way of relaxation, or they teach you some kind of like even yoga to relax. So maybe he was just doing what he needed to do to kind of get himself back centered.
Right.
But I think I was overthinking it at that moment. But because it did look like he was dancing, but he definitely felt that power, because even when he ended the dance, he had his arms out and he's looking at the mirror like, and with the clown face on too, is like, I just did this shit. Like, I just did this,
Yeah, and the reason why I took it, I'm using the word celebrating it now, is because if you remember later in the movies, every time he's doing something, he does that similar dance. When he finally gets invited onto the show,
Right.
which we'll discuss later, before he comes out, he does that dance.
But he was also nervous about it.
When he does the walk down the stairs, like when he's in his
He's
full
Joker, yeah.
he does the same dance, and it's almost like he's excited and looking forward to whatever he's about to do. So I just took it more like this was his way of
Could that be the moment though where the Joker
Oh, that's
was
that.
born?
I wonder too if that, because I feel like
He was still trying to
think
be
he was
Arthur
still-
Fleck before that, and like that was the tipping point.
That was the
I
the
think that
starting-
was
Joker
the,
took over.
I think that was the starting
This is
point.
the start because he still does the scene with the what's her name's character?
Zazie Beetz.
Yeah, where he's still seeing her going out and everything.
Yeah.
So I think he was still trying to be a good person.
Gotcha, man. So I mean, let's talk about the Zazie Beetz part of it, because I thought that was real interesting and cool how they played it, because she wasn't in the movie a lot. And again, you guys are here, so this is spoilers. It was cool how they played it, because I thought she had a bigger role because she's Zazie Beetz. She's an awesome actress.
Yeah.
You know, she played Domino in Deadpool 2, and she also played what movie was she in that she did great in, man? It was a big movie too. I can't think of the name right now, but
she's been in a lot of
she's
stuff.
been in a lot of
doing
She was
a
in
lot of-
Geostorm, Atlanta.
Atlanta I've seen her in, definitely.
Okay.
But so anyway, her character in the movie is she's a person in his apartment building. And there's a couple of scenes in the movie where it looks like he's trying to have like a conversation with her in the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes across as if that he had gone to follow her to her job or workplace.
Well, not just her workplace. He followed her everywhere, like when she was
Yeah, that
dropping off
day.
her kid.
Right,
So
the
it
school.
looks like it's the day after they have their interaction in the elevator.
Right.
Right? Because, I mean, there was nothing creepy about their interaction. She actually started interacting with him.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a little creepy, his mimicking of the gun to the head.
Well, she did it first.
She did
Yeah.
it first, but dude, he got a little bit
He kept.
He
doing, yeah.
went. It's like it was a little over the top how
Yeah.
he did it, but he,
yeah,
at that point she didn't seem to be
bothered by
it
Yeah.
or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, they're all in the same boat. At that point, she's like, we live in the same place. Our building sucks. We're all in a rough situation
Right.
and whatnot. And then, she's very attractive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, someone who's socially awkward like him, or whatnot, that a woman shows him, some attention or whatnot. He's intrigued and he follows her, right?
Mhm.
He follows her to drop off her kid, follows her to her work or anything. I honestly felt though that he didn't have any bad intention
No
by
bad
following her. I
intention,
think he just
no.
wanted to just see her.
Yeah,
And
It's that in and of itself is creepy. I'm not saying that that's not creepy,
of course.
but I don't think he was trying to do anything harmful to her at that point.
Right, but then I found
But
it
the-
weird.
But that's what I was going to say. That led to his. I don't know if the only word that's coming to my mind right now is obsession with her,
Uh-huh.
because I think that's when the imagining started. Because then she comes to his door, knocks, and pretends to say,
Hey, were you
"Oh,
following
will you
me?
follow me?" and treats it like it was nothing. Like, "Oh, ha,
That's the
ha."
part where
Yeah.
I found so weird, and I didn't understand it, because I'm like, you just found this guy to be following you, and you're okay with it like that? Like, I could see maybe she just thought that he was just like, oh, maybe he's just a little, crazy dude or whatever. So,
But at least
no
it
harm,
said,
no
like,
foul.
hey, don't follow me, okay?
Right. But she was
But
just
she's
like,
like, but
he,
she seemed excited by it. It seemed like it. She liked it.
no,
Yeah.
no, because I think he made a joke.
No,
and then
she said, "Oh, I thought you were going to come in and rob the place." And he says, "Well, I have a gun. I can do it tomorrow."
And she laughs.
Yeah, and she like,
I laugh, and I laugh now. Again, should I be laughing at that? Because he was dead serious. He's like, well, I have a gun. That's funny.
But I mean, for a normal person, right? Let's look at this for a normal person. Like, hey, I thought you were gonna rob the place. But I can come back tomorrow and do it if you want.
yeah.
That's funny. That's I'm sorry.
It is-
my
it is
humor's a little darker. than-
It's funny, dude.
yeah.
It sounds like something that we would all say. Well, us here. We
Yeah.
would say. I don't know about any people outside.
I wouldn't say it
really,
to
but-
somebody that I didn't know.
Right, right. But it is funny. Like, oh, I got a gun in the back. Like, it's you're being sarcastic.
Right.
But I think the person has to know you. And I thought that was weird a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you get these little scenes that you just assume they're in a relationship. Like Al says, we don't know this right up front, but he's imagining this stuff, and that's insane.
Well, at that point, we've watched a lot of movies.
Yeah,
I pride myself on not being duped.
yeah.
At that point, I'm like, this isn't real.
You
That's
thought
not real.
that?
Yeah.
I do. I like.
I won't go so far as to say like I knew
right.
100%, but I'm like, this can't be real. That was my thought. This can't be real. This has to be in his head.
Gotcha.
And I would have been surprised by the end of it if it was real. But when the twist came, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense now. Because it also makes sense for why she wasn't in a lot of the parts of the movie, because then they would have to explain, you know, how she interacted with other people and all that stuff. But like with her being at the hospital with him, you know, she was just being there to be a comforter kind of thing, you know? And then also her being at the comedy show.
But she became his comfort in his head.
Right.
Because he was getting laughed at, booed. They make it initially appear like he was having a good response from the crowd. And in his mind, he projects her into the crowd. Then when the mother has the stroke and she's in the hospital, again, he projects her to be there with him in the hospital, comforting him. So she became his comfort.
It goes back to what you were saying. He needed someone in his life that could provide comfort.
Gotcha.
Right? Because his mother wasn't providing comfort.
No.
She couldn't provide comfort.
No, in fact, she was putting him down. Right. When he told her, I'm going to be a stand-up comedy, she goes, don't you have to be funny to do that?
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Yeah,
that was messed up, yeah.
So
what told me that his relationship with Zazie Beetz' character wasn't real was after he killed the dudes and he shows up at her door and knocks on the door and walks right in and tongues her down and she puts his arms around him or whatever. Right? Like, yeah. I'm like, no, this is not real.
I did think a little bit like at first I was just like, oh wow.
Because first of all,
I thought maybe he just surprised her kind of thing and she just went for it. But then
because she didn't like there was no fighting it on her. It's like this is what she wanted all along.
Right.
And that way that happened, that can only happen in the mind of a man.
Gotcha.
No woman wants to be
just like that.
Like that.
Yeah.
By some creepy dude who lives next door.
Right.
That we haven't gone out on a date yet.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. I did.
With my child in here too.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like any woman in a situation like hers, the only thing is even a man that she doesn't have a relationship with yet shows up at the door, she's thinking about the safety of her child.
Of course. Yeah. And again, that's what made it weird. And I'm like, something's off, man. And something ain't right. And then
I'm like, this is a total male fantasy right now.
So that's where I think what we all are saying Zazie Beetz killed it, because then we have the scene where he does walk into her room, he's in her apartment, and she walks out of her kid's room, and she I think she was holding on to something, she drops it, and she looks completely scared.
Right.
And she's like,
she looks like a different person.
Right. Yeah. And she's like, you're that guy from the end of the hallway.
Door. Yeah, she goes, yeah. You're in
Arthur, right?
Yeah, you're in the wrong apartment.
And then I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But that was the point where I questioned, right? Maybe he wasn't imagining it. Maybe he had a psychotic break and he thought they were really having a relationship.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like this could have been real to him, where that's why he goes and shows up there, right?
Yeah.
Because remember, he just opens the door.
Right. So he thinks he's
welcome there.
Yeah.
Like, you know? So he may not have been imagining it. Well, he's imagining it, but he didn't know he wasn't imagining it.
I got you.
Right.
He didn't.
This
know.
wasn't a fantasy to him. This was actually
really
happening.
So that's why he's in there.
Right. And
but
then,
dude, when I saw her expression, I think the whole crowd was like, "Oh shoot!"
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna ask you something a little crazy, because they leave it up to interpretation. Do you think he killed her in that movie? They don't show anything. There's no blood on his feet, nothing like that. Do you think he just walks off and goes back to his apartment, or something happens? Because they don't show her after that movie. I mean, after that scene.
Well, no, I didn't get that his reaction was to then kill her. I just think she no longer became relevant, because by admitting that, she destroyed her being his comfort.
Gotcha.
She was also nice to him, even though she was scared. She doesn't react in a way that's threatening to him.
Gotcha.
She doesn't say, "I'm gonna call the police. You need to get out of here." Blah 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 blah. She's like, "Are you?" Because he said, when she tells him like, "You're in the wrong apartment," he's like, "I had a really bad day."
Yeah.
And then she says, "Is there someone I can call for you? Like your mother or something?"
Yeah, she doesn't even know his mom's dead, dude.
Right.
That's so crazy.
So that could be like, he could have probably thought, wait, weren't you just at the
Right.
hospital with me or whatever. So she wasn't mean to him. She didn't threaten him in any way.
Right.
And even when he kills the other dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
That had given him the gun. When the other guy's with him, he lets the other guy go. And before he lets the other guy go, because he's short and he can't reach the thing.
Yeah.
Which was crazy to me because he has to now let him out. This dude is terrified, right?
Yeah.
And how he's just like, I'm not gonna hurt you. And like I believed him. Like, sometimes like you see movies and you see the guy like, I'm not gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And like he's totally gonna kill the guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? like Scarface. I'm not gonna kill you, Frank. Like when he told Frank he wasn't gonna kill him, I knew he was gonna tell Manolo to kill him. Right? But whatever. He lets that guy go. He tells him before he goes, you know what? You were always nice to me. Mm-hmm. And he lets him go unharmed.
Yeah.
Right?
No, one thing I just want to go back to, because I think it happened in the beginning of the movie, and I thought it was telling. He knows he's got a mental problem. Like, he knows he's not all there.
Yeah.
Because when they cut to him writing in the book, one of the passages he wrote was, the hardest part of having a mental problem is everyone expecting you to act like you don't.
Right. That was one of his jokes.
Yeah. So he knew he
has
wasn't.
mental
Yeah, he
issues,
knows
yeah.
he has issues.
Dude, even that notebook, if you look at some of the stuff that's in the notebook
and read it, yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
See,
There's pictures of stuff in the notebook
that's what
as
I would
well.
love to do, like to be able to pause it
Yeah.
and see what he was reading. Like
Yeah.
even like the mother's letter to Thomas Wayne, we kind of understand what the context is, but I
Right.
would love to be able to read what the lines just to see.
Yeah.
So
listen, we're jumping all over the place. we're going from different parts. So I do want to ask about that now next. So
Go ahead.
what does you guys take? Because in this movie, Jesus Christ, Martha. What's his mom's name? Martha?
Penny. No, the mother's
Okay.
name.
where did you see that name?
So his mom in this movie is sending letters to Thomas Wayne, and we
calling
don't
him a great man.
yeah,
and everything.
doing this, and what she keeps telling him is Thomas Wayne would make changes. He would change what's going on in this society, because in this movie there's unrest. There's I guess financial unrest.
Mm-hmm.
There's this almost like a war between poor and the rich,
Yeah.
and of course this thing with the killing of those 3 guys on the train is leading to this thought process of the poor is reacting to the rich now.
Yeah.
So she's seeing this on the news, or they're seeing it on the news, and Arthur Fleck's mom is saying Thomas Wayne would do this, and he asks her, why do you keep talking about him like this? Like, how do you know? And she goes, oh, I used to work for him and all this stuff like that.
If he had seen us the way we were living, he would take care of us.
Exactly. So now finally we get to see this point where Arthur opens up one of the letters, and he sees that she's writing to Thomas Wayne saying, your son.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of crazy, and I'm like, wow, that's nuts. At first I was like, are they trying to say Batman
And Joker are brothers.
are brothers? Like, that's insane. One, but two, like, then you find out that they're saying that the mom is crazy, quote unquote, right? Of course, this movie, which is one of the best things that the movie does, is everything is pretty much multiple choice, which is realistic to who the Joker is. His life is a multiple choice of, you figure out what I am, right? Which is awesome because they stay true to the comics. What's your take, Sanj? Do you think that Thomas Wayne and her had a relationship, or did mom make this entire thing up?
I think I want to hear from Al first.
I think the funny thing is, I don't know where they wanted you to actually go. Like, I don't know if they have a preference as to which one you think. But I want
everything. The whole movie.
I want to, but I want to actually believe that there was a relationship,
Really?
and that the cover was, no, you adopted
Uh-huh.
this kid. He's not mine. And the only reason I think was because one of the clues that they put in there that makes me think that is that there's a picture of her with Thomas Wayne. In the back of the picture, it's written, I always love your smile, or something in regards to loving her smile, and it's signed TW.
Right.
So, and it's them. So to me, it was like something happened. Maybe he had the kid and then found out how crazy she was, so he had to distance her.
And he was rich enough to forge, or
And,
get somebody to forge.
and as
all
they
this
said,
stuff.
he was wealthy enough and had enough connections to make it look like, no, she's just crazy.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that she went crazy and was committed.
Right.
So I think that I want to believe in the background, and then it would give them a great context to put the dispute between Joker and Batman. Maybe even as to why Batman never kills Joker.
Wow.
Or never really takes him out, because a part of him knows that's my brother. So,
Ow.
So I
Wow.
See why I wanted to hear from Al?
so I found that like to be a good play as to what they might be doing or
Right.
what they could do with the story, whether
Yeah.
or not that's what they were actually trying to do.
Wow, man, that brings a whole new dynamic to Batman and Joker, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
How about yourself, though, Sans? What you think?
So a couple things on it. One of the things I really liked about this movie was that we've always been fed this story about Thomas Wayne, right?
Right,
We
this
think
great man.
This great man, this visionary, he saved Gotham, because what we're seeing in this movie is the Gotham that Ra's al Ghul was talking about in Batman Begins.
Right.
We're seeing that Gotham, that exact Gotham that he was talking about.
Right.
And then he's saying, and people like your parents, Gotham limped on. Right? It galvanized the wealthy or whatever. Their deaths,
Yeah.
galvanized the city, blah blah blah, right? We've been told about Thomas Wayne from Alfred mostly, Alfred Pennyworth, and from Morgan Freeman's character.
Oh, I can't even think
Oh
of
my
his
God,
name
why
right
am I?
now.
Anyways, so
Lucius Fox.
Lucius Fox,
There you go.
Yeah.
all
Ooh.
people that loved Thomas Wayne, right? So he's a hero, and we haven't seen him any other way than a hero, except now.
Right.
Because honestly, the Thomas Wayne in this movie, fucking douchebag. The way he talks to people, the way he talks about poor people, those people are clowns,
Right.
right?
He's the reason that they started the uprising.
He's the reason that the uprising
Yeah.
started. Those people are clowns. Those cowards in masks, and it really got me when
Again.
he says those cowards in masks, and then I thought about Batman.
Right.
So is that what you really think, or you would think of your son?
Right.
Right?
They did that purposely,
because
man.
your son
Absolutely.
puts on a mask and goes out there and beats people up.
Right.
And he's a vigilante. He's breaking the law. Right?
Yeah.
So Thomas Wayne would think that Batman
Is
is
a
a fucking
coward.
clown and a coward.
Yeah.
Right? And then you see the scene with him and Arthur Fleck, when Arthur Fleck finally confronts him. He punches him in the face.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he said, because if you ever get close to my son again, I'm gonna take care of you. And I could see, I would definitely punch him in the face also for putting your hand. He put his thumbs inside of his son's mouth, dude.
Well, Arthur Fleck also thinks that it's his brother.
Yeah, but Thomas Wayne doesn't know who he is, And now, I still, man, that whole scene was creepy.
So either way, you're asking about, can Thomas Wayne be? What do I think?
Yeah.
I want to agree with Al
Yeah.
that I think that it is his son,
Right.
because if we're to believe that Thomas Wayne is the Thomas Wayne that we know and love,
Right.
he would have made sure she got the help that she needed, not just fired her.
Gotcha.
Right? So and then you see the way Alfred reacted
Yeah.
as well to him. Oh, I know who you are. You're Penny's son. Oh, and Alfred picks up that same story. He gives him the same story, almost like line for line.
Yeah.
Right?
Dementia.
Yeah, it's like it was rehearsed. It just felt rehearsed. There was no compassion
Right.
in Alfred at that point.
Which
Now-
is crazy because we never seen these sides of Alfred, or the
Right.
no compassion, or
So maybe we haven't been told the whole story about
Right.
the Waynes either. So now
Yeah.
someone's telling us the other side of the story about the Waynes,
Gotcha.
right? Also, another hint actually comes from the Batman comics. So in recent issues, I think maybe last year or the year before, I can't remember exactly.
Right.
But there's an issue where it goes way off on in and Batman and the Justice League and everything. They take over as some eternal beings in the universe or whatnot. Batman opts to be the one that has all the knowledge. Like there's a chair, the chair of knowledge, whatever it's called. I
Right.
don't know the complete story, but he asks the chair 2 questions. All right, when he sits down in the chair,
Right.
who killed my parents and who's the Joker?
Right.
First question, everybody knows the answer to that. Joe Chill
Right.
killed his parents. That's common knowledge. Second answer to the second question: Who is the Joker? The chair answers him. And he gives the response that that's not possible. How is that possible?
Or they don't tell you
And
that.
they don't tell you. What if the Joker is his brother? And it tells him the Joker is your brother.
That's
And
insane.
in his
yeah.
mind, how is that possible? Right?
Right. I got you. I mean, I'll tell you the truth, man. For me personally, because I'm so used to the lore of Batman, I always said to myself, he can't be Batman's
You
brother.
don't want to believe that.
Exactly. So when they gave me the out, I took it. You know what I mean? But I can see where you guys are coming from because again, if there's anyone that's powerful enough or rich enough to make those things happen, or
Are we to believe that Thomas Wayne never made a mistake in his life?
oh yeah, no, I would
Right?
never believe that. But to put, I guess again, to put Batman and Joker as brothers to me was just like, nah, man, I can't do it. You know, but at the same time, it's a very interesting theory, very interesting concept. And again, like you're saying, they're giving you all these things in this movie to let you know not everyone is as good as you think, and not everyone is as bad as you think. You know what I mean? So it was definitely just that's a mind fuck right there.
Yeah,
dude.
it is.
Honestly.
And you could definitely see that, like, any other iteration of Thomas Wayne, he had real compassion for people. Like, he was the rich guy that would go tell the other rich people, like, you're all douchebags.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But, like, you could see this Thomas Wayne had disdain
Uh-huh.
all over his face
Yeah.
for people that weren't of his caliber.
You know, and when you say that about Thomas Wayne, did you notice whenever we were outside of certain places, it was grimy and it was just horrible looking. It looked bad, Gotham, right?
Yeah.
But whenever we saw Thomas Wayne in a place, the movie theater, the opera house, how fancy and rich and how different it
Exactly.
looked from where everybody else was.
Right. He was just removed from it.
And I almost felt I was almost getting pissed at the movie theaters. It's like, how are you living this life of luxury and everyone's out here suffering? You know what I'm saying? You're at the
Exactly.
opera house and people can't afford food.
Right.
You're at this movie theater, you know.
And we all know that the origin story of Batman, they left the opera house and they got shot in the alley. We've never asked that. How are you sitting in a hot... and we knew about Gotham.
Uh-huh.
How are you... We never asked before. How are you sitting in an opera house when people ain't got food?
Right.
But we knew that's where they came out when they got shot, right?
Yeah.
We always knew.
This movie was really good with that stuff, man. And so we talked about Thomas Wayne. We got the mom out there. We got Zazie Beetz in there. I guess the next thing is like one of the scenes you talked about, which is I was going to ask about whether it was funny or if it wasn't funny, was the whole setup for him killing his friend from the clown agency. So the guy from the clown agency who gave him the gun, I guess he's being questioned about the murder of the three guys on the train, and he's worried that Arthur Fleck is going to let them know that he was the one who gave him the gun. So he shows up with him and also one of the other co-workers, which happens to be a little person. And they go to the thing. And when they walk in, Arthur Fleck locks the door. Of course, Arthur Fleck knows that this guy is looking just to make sure that he's not going to rat him out or whatever. And kind of brutally, Arthur Fleck kills him, right? So then we have the other character. I forgot his name, but he's a little person in the movie. And he tells him to get out. He's not going to kill him. Gary, okay.
That's why you're the man in the chair.
So Gary tries to leave.
There's your answer.
Okay. I think I know the answer. So Gary tries to leave, but the lock on the door is really high. And
It's the chain.
I just mentioned that he's a little person. Okay, now I laughed in the theater, but I noticed that I wasn't. I was kind of not alone, but definitely wasn't a lot of people laughing.
Alone.
Yeah.
I was alone in the
All
theater
right,
laughing.
so this again is one of those scenes where because we just watched the brutal murder, and at this point we don't know if he's going to kill Gary.
Yeah, I was assuming he was.
Me too. I thought he purposely did that to be funny, but
Knowing
also
that
kill
he
him.
couldn't get away. Yeah.
Right. But he actually lets him go. But in the moment that you see that he can't reach the door lock, funny or not funny?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he tried to reach it. You know, like he stretched up and then like because He opens the door. The chain's on there. He closes the door. He tries to reach it, and he puts his head down in defeat, and he's like, Arthur, little help.
Oh my goodness! I thought he was gonna kill him. I thought he really was gonna kill
and then
Gary.
Arthur Fleck, Joker, whatever you want to call him at that point, just reacts in such a matter of fact. He's like, oh yeah, the lock.
Right, he's out of it, dude.
No, I don't think he's out of it. I think he has clarity at that point. It's psychotic. I'm not saying it's not psychotic.
Of course, yeah.
But he has clarity at this point. He knows what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
In his mind, like, I've made a decision. Because, remember, he says, I have negative thoughts all the time, and I'm trying to not be negative and not have those negative thoughts and not let those negative thoughts take over. And, like, he's like, no, this is who I am. Right. I've made my decision.
Yeah, and he's completely okay with it.
And I'm okay with it. I'll deal with whatever consequences come my way.
It's insane, man. But I laughed. I'm not gonna lie.
I definitely laughed.
I laughed. I thought it was hilarious, man, because it's just like so Joker, but at the same time so like just a funny situation. And I think it was timed perfectly because the killing of the coworker was really, really brutal, and it was like he didn't just kill him.
He enjoyed it.
He enjoyed it, and then we lingered there while he kept bashing the guy's freaking head into the wall there, and it was just it was a little over the top. But then you get that little comic relief to kind of bring you back to like, hey,
it's still the Joker.
Yeah, still a Joker. We're gonna move past that real quick. Now,
before you move
go
on,
for it. Yeah, go.
Right? You asked earlier, like, you never say somebody deserves to be killed, right?
Yeah.
The coworker gave him the gun, right?
Right.
Then ratted him out about the gun, and then came to make sure he didn't rat him out.
Yeah, that's not still. I personally don't think that's still kill worthy.
It's just a question that I have.
I don't think that's still kill worthy. Mm-hmm. But throughout the scene with the guns and stuff like that, there was a couple scenes in the movie where he's imitating shooting himself. And I started to think while I was watching this, I'm like, oh, this is how this movie's gonna end. He's gonna actually kill himself on the show, because I know he was gonna be on the show apparently. But I did come away with thinking like, oh, this is a completely different take on the Joker. They're just gonna show him turn into the Joker, and then we're gonna end the movie with him killing himself. You know what I mean?
Now,
go for it.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say if you want, I had a different spin on that.
Yeah. Talk to me.
Only because we've been discussing so far how he's going back and between Arthur Fleck and Joker.
Right.
So my take on that was that Arthur Fleck trying to kill Joker.
Okay, wow, I got you now.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of like where
like
in
he
Fight Club,
like knows that he's descending.
Like in Fight Club, when Edward Norton's character realizes that he and Brad Pitt are the same person, he literally starts beating himself
spoiler
up.
Alert. No,
spoiler alert. So I was wondering, is that what it is? Because then when he fully commits to Joker,
yeah,
there was not even a pause as to what he was really going to do with the gun.
I got you. What's up, Sanj?
I think right along your lines, Al, is that he still thinks those negative thoughts. He's trying. At the beginning, he was trying to do something about those negative thoughts. Take the medication. Talk to somebody to get help. He's like, I need this help to not have this. So yeah, I think he doesn't want the Joker to come out. He doesn't want the animal to come out. Right at this point, we don't know what the animal is. Right. It doesn't have an identity per se yet, and he doesn't want that animal to come out. So he's thinking the only way out for me to not do all these horrible things is for me to end it. Right? Mm-hmm. So that it doesn't. So I agree with you that.
Yeah.
I even up to a point when he went on the show, I think that the character totally planned on ending it on the show for everybody to see.
Gotcha. Absolutely, man. I thought he was gonna end it right there, man. So then we get into the last part of this movie, which is probably some of the craziest last minutes of this of movies, period. So he gets on the show because he gets the call from, I guess, a show, maybe a showrunner or somebody calls him, a producer calls him to get him on to the show that he's been enamored with from the beginning of the movie. So he gets onto this show and he gets called out, to come out.
But remember, the reason he got put on the show
was because
Murray played a clip of him bombing in the club and like put his face out there
and making fun of him
and really making fun of him too.
Gotcha.
And then you call me on the show now to like rub that in.
Gotcha. Yeah. So then we get the scene that I was talking about, him dancing behind the curtains getting ready to come out. And when he comes out to the show, it's like he's a superstar almost. You know, he's twirling, spinning. He gives the quote unquote Dr. Ruth there a big kiss, the old lady, right? And he
That was
sits
creepy.
down. Yeah, a little bit, but it was also a little funny because
Yeah.
it was like, okay, where did that come from? And then he's sitting there with the Joker makeup. They call him the Joker, and they're having this conversation back and forth between Murray and Arthur Fleck. And in the conversation of what's going on, he admits to being the person who murdered the 3 guys on the train. And I think one of the things that I like that they kept it to who the Joker was in the comics. He's asking, "Oh, you did this for political reasons?" He goes, "No, I'm apolitical."
Right.
He goes, "I did it because they deserved it," he says, you know? And, you know, of course, no one knows that these guys were jumping him and beating him up and it was self-defense at first.
Right.
So, you know, Murray's over there accusing him of all these things and doesn't know
Right.
the
Murray's
story.
being self-righteous.
Right. And I think that self-righteousness started pissing Joker off. I think in that self-righteousness of Murray talking to him about like, "Oh, you did this, you're no good, you're a criminal," and all this stuff, I think that's where he changed his mind. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm going to kill him. And in that speech that he gives, I thought that was amazing. And I can't really remember the words. I don't know.
No, he
Sanj-
said. So first he said, when Murray, you know, really presses him on killing those 3. See, why we need to be worried about them because Thomas Wayne gets on TV. So that's why we're worried about them. Thomas Wayne gets on TV and says how tragic their deaths were. What about me? If it happened to me, all of you, and he says you and all of you would step over me. What about people like me? People like you don't care about people like me.
Right.
People that are struggling, that are all of that. You don't care about me. And then that's the moment when he decides chaos.
Gotcha. Yeah, and he goes, what was the joke that he gives? He goes, "What do you get when you push a person with mental illness?"
Too far and everything
Yeah.
else, you get a murderous whatever, you know.
No, he
Was
says,
it?
"You get what you fucking deserve."
You get what you okay, yeah.
I can't believe we just laughed at that, man.
Yeah. Now,
He
Well,
said,
I mean,
"You
look-
get what you fucking deserve."
But I mean, it's a perfect commentary.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect commentary on the society that he's living in.
Right.
These douchebags come on the train. They clearly got money. They clearly got means and everything. They've got everything you want. Everyone else is living in day to day and struggling and whatever. And then they're harassing this woman. Then they beat the shit out of me. And when someone fights back, they're the bad guy.
Gotcha.
That's his mindset. I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
right.
No. Right. Again, and I don't think in this movie is saying that it's right or wrong. It's what's happened to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And right there we get that shot again. That one of the things we talked about in the beginning of the spoiler is how brutal that was, because that shot was there. Like usually they cut away, you hear the sound, but it was like you watched it happen while we're watching this movie, and it was freaking brutal. I never in my life thought I would see Robert De Niro take it like that, because he's done how many mafia movies?
He's always the guy.
He's the guy who who survives in the end, right?
Right.
So it was so
He's
crazy.
the one putting the bullet in somebody, you know?
I didn't expect to see that, man. And it was insane. And then you get the Joker go up to the camera, start talking to the camera, and he gets arrested. And then me and Al looked at each other real quick while he got arrested when he was in the police car. That is definitely a homage, whatever
to
you
Heath Ledger.
to
Yep.
Heath Ledger's
'Cause
Joker
it was
in the
like
back
done
of the
exactly the same
the
way.
hair, the look.
Even just how he positioned himself.
in the car. In
I
the
saw
police car.
I saw Heath Ledger.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was awesome.
That was
man.
nice that they did that.
Yeah, so they have him in the police car with that same Heath Ledger look when Heath Ledger did that plan with the police precinct in the middle of the Dark
he created
Knight.
chaos. He
Yeah.
just sent everything into chaos.
And then we get the scene where it looks like someone stole an ambulance, maybe somebody from the uprising here. They steal the ambulance, they crash it into the police car that he's in, they free him, but he's hurt. And we get the signature Joker look. He takes the blood around his lips or in his face, and he makes the Joker smile.
So you see now, remember like when you started off, I didn't say anything then. I said,
Yeah.
you know what? I'll wait till the end because we're obviously going to talk about it.
Go for it.
So when you started talking about the first scene where he's trying to make the smile, you know, and it brings a tear because he's hiding the pain.
Right.
This time, when he makes it, it hits real ecstasy for him. and you just see like the same act, the same everything, right?
Yeah.
And now it's a completely different person. It's a completely different thing. He has descended. He is now the Joker. Like he's not.
I think that's when the Joker really, really comes out, man.
Yeah.
Right there on top of the police car with the smile on the face and everything.
I think Joker was coming out a little earlier.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because one of the things, and I'm not going to take credit for this, I forgot where I heard it. They were making the parallels between, if you watch in the beginning of the movie, they always show him going up those stairs to his apartment. So it's him supposedly trying to come out of the chaos, out of the crazy. And then when he turns into the Joker and he's in the full suit, he's going down the stairs. So
Gotcha.
as he descends into the chaos. So that's where I think
Artistic.
the Joker,
it's awesome.
I think that's supposed to symbolize him. That's
And
when
then-
he
and then
turned
that's-
into
yeah.
Joker.
the fact that they're playing the Hey song, well, it's triumphant. So the Joker has triumphantly.
That was so awkward and weird, but I get it. I get with it. It's like, I'm like, are the Chicago Bulls about to come out? This motherfucker, like, dun, 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 dun. I was like, what?
I'll never watch my wedding video the same way now.
Thanks, Joker.
You know.
So now we get to something that's pretty cool that I did not think we were going to see in this movie, and I just want to see what you guys think. When they showed the movie theater and Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne, and Bruce Wayne come out of the movie theater, I looked at you and I'm like,
Yeah, because I think
Oh,
I
shit.
think we were both surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to touch on Batman.
me neither. I said, okay, we saw Bruce Wayne. That's the nod we get.
Yeah, and the fact that he jumped. When you remember when he first sees him?
Yeah, he comes down the
He
pole.
goes down the little pole. I was like, oh, that was a cool. Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like that little nod.
But I'm like, are we going to see how Batman gets, his start?
Yeah.
And dude, we get Crime Alley. I cannot believe they put that in this movie, because to me, I'm like, maybe I'm being a little bit like too comic booky on movies and stuff and comic books, but I'm almost feeling like, if you're gonna show me that shit, you gotta show me what happens now. I need to see this Batman.
Yeah. They did it with the pearl necklace and everything, getting
Everything.
caught in the gun, and
You're
the
just gonna
whole-
show me this and we're done? And I know they keep saying this guy, not this guy, Joaquin Phoenix said, I'm only doing one and I'm done. But when you do that, to me, you're leaving a little door open.
Well, it gives them time because they realistically could just focus on Batman. Kind of like they did with Batman Begins. You don't see Joker until you see him referenced
In the first one,
in the first one, but you don't see him until the second one. So they realistically can give Joaquin some time to think it over, enjoy that paycheck.
Dude, throw the bank at him. Roll the brink truck.
Bring in a Batman in this reality.
Oh,
Like Batman Begins was real. This was realer.
yeah.
So bring Batman in this reality.
Yeah.
Kind of like the violent Batman that they were hinting at with Affleck.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Arthur Fleck,
Mm-hmm.
A Fleck.
Oh.
So
Al dropping podcast gold all night
That's
over
why.
here.
That's why he's
but-
the man.
but I would want to see like that violent Batman.
Yeah.
Like where he's like killing people because
Yeah, this is, yeah.
yeah, like and then have that Batman go against this Joker. That would be the DCEU that could give Marvel
I'll run for his money.
the
man.
run that we are all as comic book
Yeah.
fans hoping to see.
I think to some degree, you could kind of assemble a DCEU from stuff that we have already.
Uh-huh.
If you take this as a starting point,
Right.
Shazam comes after it, completely
Irrelevant to
irrelevant to
the
the
story.
story, but it exists in the same
Yeah.
thing. Then you bring in Batman Begins.
I got you.
And if you go on in that continuity, you kind of get. I can see Arthur Fleck's Joker becoming Heath Ledger's Joker.
Gotcha.
Like I can see him being the end result.
Yeah, I would love to see what they do with this, man. If they tie it into something, I really do.
I'm just saying, like for me, the way
Yeah.
I'm kind of enjoying it right now is that I'm putting it in that order in my head,
Yeah.
and like I'm loving it
Okay.
right now. But I didn't expect like you guys were saying. And that was me and Al were talking before.
Sanj, I would have paid full price, if you had texted me watching Joker, I would have paid full price to buy my ticket, to sit next to you, and just to watch your face when they did Crime Alley.
I'll show it to you. Now we don't have video yet, but I just showed the guy. I burned it in my head, like how my muscles in my face felt.
Did you realize it was happening
as soon as Thomas Wayne came and Martha and them came out of the theater? I'm like, this is the fucking theater. I was like, get the fuck out of here. That's exactly what I said. Like, and I said it. I didn't even say it under my breath.
Did you expect to see this?
No.
Neither did
No,
I. Dude, no clue.
This was a Joker and Batman origin story all in one.
Yeah.
That's why. So this comes down to why I said this should have been the starting point
Yeah.
for DC.
Yeah.
Because you have your two biggest characters, right?
Yeah.
No offense to Superman. Your two biggest characters, Batman and his arch nemesis. That's what this whole shit is built on for DC, right?
Yeah.
And you had a perfect origin story for both of them here, right? You gave enough background on the Waynes. You gave enough background on the Joker. You've got young Bruce there. Mm-hmm. But when they walked out of, I'd say, you saw a theater, right? You saw people exiting a theater. And then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, chaos
and
outside.
And then you see Thomas and Martha Wayne and Bruce Wayne exiting. I'm like, holy shit. They're about, oh shit.
Yeah.
And in the theater, I didn't say it under my breath. Like, I was lost in it. And I said, get the fuck out of here. I said that, like, just like that in the theater. And I'm just, and then they go into the alley, and then you see the dude who's Joe Chill.
Right.
And he just calls him out, Wayne. Bang, bang.
Yeah. You get what you deserve. He said it also.
And in that moment, I'm not saying that they deserved it, but you understand.
Right, because he called them all clowns.
Yeah, you calling us clowns? All right, who's the clown now? Right? But you see how people can be pushed, and it wasn't just some random act of violence. Right?
Right.
It gives more to the story.
Yeah, it wasn't a random robbery like they originally made it sound like.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing about this was random.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't just somebody looking to steal somebody's wallet or something like that. No, they were targeted, and he put the target on himself.
Right.
This fucking idiot put the target on himself, and all this shit is going on. And then you gonna go down a dark alley with your kid.
Yeah.
You know.
So not chill.
So not chill. So not chill. And then when from there, I'm just like, Now, like you said, I want to see more.
I want to see more.
I want this Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want this Joker.
Absolutely, man. And then this is where we get the last scene. And this last scene is what makes me question a lot of this movie, man. And it's because this movie is completely, again, Joker's story is it's multiple choice. That's what he's always said. And that's why everybody was, you have to give these people a chance who are making these movies. Because when they said they were going to make a Joker movie, everybody's complaint was Joker doesn't have an origin story.
Fuck you. Now he does.
He kind of does.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. Everybody should have an origin story, but Joker has always been known to not have a real origin story, right? So we get a scene now where it looks like it's an older Joker, maybe, because they never show him getting caught or anything like that. But he's in I guess Arkham Asylum, and he's in a white room, and he's got the white coat on and everything, and he's laughing. And there's this new social worker, psychologist, whatever, and she asks him, "What's so funny?" And he goes, "You wouldn't get it, not even caring." And then at that moment, I'm looking, I'm like, "Wait a minute, did he just imagine all this shit?"
I'm glad you said that.
And I'm like, "Wait a minute." And then I remember there was a scene. It was like a flash, real quick. In the beginning, when she had mentioned that he was in a psychiatric ward before, and it was a flash of just him being in a white room. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't completely think, I thought it for a second while I watched the ending scene. And then, of course, I started laughing because now he's being chased like, what was that show we used to watch with Benny?
Benny Hill.
He's being chased by the wards because it looks like he kills the psychologist and walks off.
It's really funny, but then the way he runs
throughout
the movie, it's like hilarious. It's like slapstick.
So this is gonna be my ultimate big and last question here, because I think again, like, this whole freaking thing is all up into interpretation. Did this shit all really happen, or was this just a possibility because Zazie Beetz' character did not happen. I'm wondering how much of this is real or not, because there's a lot of scenes, you know, because again, after watching this movie, I wanted to learn more. I wanted to see what I missed. So I go online, and they were saying that when he was dancing in the bathroom after the kill of the three guys in the train, he puts his hand on the sink, and the next thing you see is a flash. He's in his apartment with his hand on the sink. So did that happen? Then also this whole thing with Thomas Wayne and him like happened to sneak past everyone and get into the art build into the theater, you know, to meet Bruce Wayne in the bathroom was like, how could he do that? You know, was he that skilled to get past security and all that?
Well, he put on a bellhop's uniform or an usher's uniform.
Yeah, but that was once he was in. So.
But no, theoretically, like an usher could have been outside taking a smoke on a break, and he
but it gives
he
you
stole their
it gives you that little doubt.
Yes.
And it's up to your interpretation. And I started to think, I'm like, did this shit happen? Or is it just this thought? This is the joke that no one would understand.
But then if that's the case, and that was the twist that I was like, wow, how much then are they then implying that everything, even Batman, was in his head?
Whoa.
It's just all insane.
Wow.
Is it in his head?
Even Batman?
Even Batman. Because think about it. If everything that happened in that movie, even the chaos and everything, was in his head, and then that's when he comes back to reality, and he's laughing because all that just happened in his head. And she goes, "What's so funny?" He says, "Yo, you wouldn't get it."
Right.
But if that never happened, then Batman never really happened.
Right.
So is that all just Joker's?
Is the whole DC universe Joker's Arthur Fleck's imagination?
I don't know, man. I mean, that's the interpretation. I like.
No
look,
Superman.
No,
I don't want to believe I watched a movie that was just all in somebody's head, right? But at the same time,
fact that they still have us questioning that at the end of the movie that was supposed to be Joker's origin story,
it's perfect.
They mind fucked us.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you question everything now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I question? And this is gonna fuck you over right now.
Fuck.
Did Teenager steal his sign, or does he have the sign somewhere in his apartment?
Yo.
Because the boss is like, come on,
wants
man,
his sign
just
back.
just give him the sign back. Why would he say that if he told him, yo, dude, they beat me up and took the sign? He's like, dude, come on, just bring the sign back. And so I'm like, did they beat him up and take the sign?
Yeah, you can question everything, right?
It's just insane, man. But I mean, I think it shows how well written the movie was, how well shot, produced, acted. That movie was awesome, man. Like, and when we left the theater, I looked at you guys and I was like, masterpiece, you know? But then I keep thinking about it, and I keep wondering about these different scenes and how they made me believe. They made me believe I just watched a Joker's origin story, and I also believe I may have not.
Right. So along that line, so then I'm just trying to think. So then is Joker trying to imagine that he was responsible for Batman's creation? So Batman does exist, right?
Maybe Batman does exist, and he thinks
he's the one that. So he's because that happened off to the side. He wouldn't have known it. So unless it's in his imagination, and he's imagining the scene, and he's looking at it from outside of himself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because like even like, did he really do anything to be adored like that?
One interesting, no,
You know?
Well,
the chaos in the sense that he killed those the Wall Street guys, and at the time and almost like what could be happening in reality. You think about it, it would be like a class war.
Yeah,
You know, and they felt like, you know what, he did what
'Cause
we all wanted to do.
right.
They were talking about it in things like there was a protest going on, right? And then the cops did come after him, and the cops actually fired first on a packed train, and they injured somebody else, right? So that spark right there, people like, you know what? All right, we're gonna fight back then, because you can kill any one of us randomly. All right, we're gonna fight back, and then he goes on live TV for everybody to see, and he sparks this all off, gives his speech and everything. That's what sparks. So what did he do something to be that adored? That's what he did.
Right. I guess so. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. That's a reason why I would want to watch the movie again in the theater.
I gotta see.
Is to see, like, is the sign in his apartment?
Maybe it's there and
Right?
it's glossed over and like.
Right.
And he gave that actually that whole concept, if they were to go with that, could give them an out of having a different Joker. Because what if he made himself Joker, but it's because he was hearing it and seeing it on the news. So again, he's
Right.
imagining all this. He makes himself the Joker, but there really is a Joker.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh my
we're
God.
seeing him put himself in the events that he's seeing on the news. So now if Joaquin Phoenix doesn't want to come back and they say, you know what? No, we want to make a Batman with a Joker. They realistically could bring in another Joker who was the Joker
Right.
that Joaquin character
Created or thought
was
of.
was putting himself in place of.
Yeah. Oh my God. So crazy, man.
Because he put himself as a character in this guy's audience when he wanted to imagine that this guy liked him and cared for him as a father figure.
And that also. So this producer just found Arthur Fleck's phone number. This this comedian that's flopped. They just found his number and called him to come on the show.
It was the 80s. People did have their numbers listed in phone books.
Maybe.
Remember,
okay.
it wasn't cell phones. And everybody's
yeah.
number got listed in the phone book.
I don't know.
back
There's
in the
just
day.
so many things that I'm like, did that really happen? Like I'm questioning it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
But
just
that's how good of a thing
But then
job they
again,
did.
Remember,
Yeah.
when he's walking out of that room, the footprints, the blood footprints.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, because he killed the site. Yeah.
Did he?
Ugh. I don't know. And look, we even questioned whether Zazie Beetz his character is gone.
Right.
You know, like
and
it's
I think even like his mother, how real was she?
yeah, insane.
Like you,
Just absolutely insane, man.
total chaos.
Man. So I mean, listen, guys, we've been talking for an hour and a half on this, man. As you guys can see,
we
man.
could probably go
We
another.
can keep
Oh,
going
forget
because
that,
there's so
yeah.
many different things. But what we probably do is I have some other questions. Nothing like about the movie particular, but we'll get into it on the next podcast. We'll talk about the Jokers that have come out and who has impressed us the most and maybe who has impressed us the least as far as Joker wise. So we'll talk about that on the next podcast there and maybe some movie news too. But this whole episode
Are we
is just
including Mark
Joker.
Hamill in that?
We can include everyone we want, man.
Okay.
We can get a good
Yeah.
discussion going on about it, man.
Okay.
It's awesome. So, guys, I just want to thank you for listening. Again, this has been the Joker spoiler, non-spoiler review. And with us today, we got my boy Sanj. We got my man in the chair, Al, myself, Hav. You guys can always listen to us on The Real Fan Review. You can find us at therealfanreview.com. That's our website. You can leave a message on there for us. Let us know if there's something you want us to talk about. We have the Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Follow us on all those platforms. And again, guys, we always appreciate you listening. And have a good night.